Shalom, shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do well, and salutations to the Akim out there spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. Alright, I titled this live the Mr E of Iniquity. You should know who he is. He's been revealed. Is pulling a 9/11 on his own empire. Control demolition of his own empire. And I got a article out of out of naturalnews.com. You know, got a lot of good articles, and I recommend that site for articles. Well, hold on, they're a good news site. But anyways, let me get into this article because Esau thinks that he's gonna. Oh, I will throw this. Let me get that scripture in Obadiah. Oh no, Malachi. That proves this man is the devil that the Bible speaks of in the wicked. Malachi 1:4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. So let me get into this article. The controlled demolition of food and energy infrastructure is now underway. Prepare or get crushed. Really, you're supposed to prepare spiritually. Preparing carnally only gets you so far. You know, but if you prepare spiritually, you'll be good. All right, but let me get into this article. The global destruction of food and energy infrastructure is accelerating by the day. The goal is rather obvious at this point: to destroy human civilization and starve as many people to death as possible by any means necessary. Those who don't yet realize this is happening will be destroyed by it. Some of the astonishing highlights of this deliberate depopulation scheme are covered in today's podcast. Western Europe's largest manufacturer, CF Industries, has announced it is closing down its UK manufacturing plant in Chester and moving administrative operations to the USA, following Western Europe's green war against natural gas, which is necessary to manufacture nitrogen-based fertilizers at cfindustries.com. After ordering airlines to mass murder their own pilots to force mRNA uh, jump shots, the federal government is now threatening to take action against airlines for not having enough pilots. Hold on, I had to spit some out. In a similar way, the Biden regime tells oil and gas producers they will all be shut down in 5 to 10 years, but that they should hurry up and produce more fuel right now and shouldn't be making any profits from it because the Democrats don't want to lose the midterm elections due to people being unhappy about rising gas prices. An overpressurized, let's see, NBC.com. An overpressurized pipe caused a massive explosion at one of the largest liquefied natural gas hubs in America, which sends 70% of its exports to Europe. This explosion is eerily similar to what caused the massive explosion at the Philadelphia Energy Solutions refinery in 2019, which permanently shuttered their fuel refining operation. CNBC.com. The other part about that overpressurized pipe, EEnews.net. Now the Freeport LNG facility is going to be shut down for the entire rest of the year, taking about 20% of the LNG, liquefied natural gas supply in North America offline, comparing it now.com. Oil heating, anti-civilization, and environmental groups are suing the Biden administration to try to shut down 3,500 oil and gas drilling permits in order to completely collapse all industry and create infrastructure leads mass starvation, total collapse of society as we know it. CNBC.com, which, there's other ways to produce energy, which not taking oil out of the earth like that, but this, this society is built on top of, was built off of oil and gas. So, like, just doing that, the reason why they would do that shit is because it is oral ab chaos. That's why they don't give a fuck about the environment. It's just so they can bring about that new world order. In the state of Washington, pro-mask, pro-abortion Governor Jay Inslee, pro-mask, pro-mask, and pro-abortion Governor Governor Jay Inslee is now openly warning his citizens to prepare for a summer of quote unquote blackouts, destruction, and death, while moving forward to shut down four hydroelectric dams, depriving the state of 8% of its current electricity supply. And just when you thought you could, that's how the postmillennial.com, yeah, this one, when I'm doing it live, that's when they're going to do that shit. All right. Just thought that was interesting. The spiritual demon Satan be trying to disrupt me when I'm live and shit. Be creating situations to do that. Just when you thought you could go green and transition away from oil, the EU is about to declare lithium to be a toxic substance, which will devastate lithium mining, transportation, and manufacturing to create lithium batteries that power much of the green economy. Without lithium, there is no green infrastructure. Yeah, showing you that it's not about saving the environment. Nah, they don't give a fuck about that. It's about it's about demolishing his own. Esau's demolishing his own society, his own empire, just to rebuild it. Rebuild it, in a way that he would have more control. Meanwhile, yeah, that he would be, because he wants to be like the Most High. He so that's what he's gonna try to do. Rebuild society in a way that it can be controlled, easier. Meanwhile, Union Pacific, so he can live out that fantasy, you know. Meanwhile, Union Pacific Railroad has ordered a halt to carrying diesel fuel and DEF that's necessary for modern diesel engines, causing fuel outages at Flying J truck stops across the East Coast, including Florida. So, yeah, in addition to all this, we have widespread sabotage, arson of food facilities taking place across the U.S., combined with the illegitimate Biden regime continuing every effort to shutter pipelines, refineries, and oil exploration, leading to a collapse in domestic oil availability. That's why gas prices are skyrocketing, of course, causing higher prices in food, transportation, and consumer goods. It all adds up to the controlled demolition of food and fuel infrastructure for the deliberate purpose of causing global famine, poverty, chaos, and death. And don't forget that those that were global enough to take the jump shot are now dying at record numbers from clots, heart attacks, and sudden adult death syndrome. Yeah, so sudden, so surprised. Like it. You're watching a global war being waged against humanity in real time. Only those who prepare will survive. Perhaps 95% of the general population remains completely oblivious to all this, which is why I posted a short podcast reminding us that it's too late to red pill the oblivious masses, which, you know, those will be, the two-thirds. They get that from the prophets, man. Those will be the two-thirds Esau. Anyway, yeah, we get some scriptures on that. This devil is purposely bringing about chaos. He's purposely destroying his own society to rebuild it. He's doing a control. He's pulling a 9/11 on the American Empire. That's what Esau is doing. Pulling the 9/11 on his own society. Let me get Pale Horse and yeah, I'm gonna get it. Um, and I looked and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth. Death and hell, right? Who is this death and hell who can't be satisfied? like let me get Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Oh Khan, behold their own society just to rebuild another society where you have more control when you already had plenty of control in this society. You know, someone that is basically basically can't be satisfied, man. Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yet also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home who lodgeth his desire as hell, he is as death and cannot be satisfied. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Yeah, man. Just because yeah, you know, Esau's a greedy man. You know, he can't be satisfied. Gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. You know, he's greedy. You know, he wants to be like the Most High. You know, Isaiah 14 in here where it talks about Esau, how Esau is the king of Babylon. Isaiah 14 verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation? Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of power Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mountain of congregation in the sides of the north. Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. You know. Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down the hill to the sides of the pit. Verse 16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Verse 17, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, and opened up the house of his prisoners. You know, that's why, you know, you devils, that's why verse 18, all the kings of the nations, even all of them lie in glory, everyone in his own house. Verse 19, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit as a carcass trodden under feet. Verse 20, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Verse 21, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they may not rise nor possess the land, nor for the face of the world the city. Verse 22, for I will rise up against them, say, the hour of hosts and cut off from Babylon the name, and remnant and son and nephew. verse 23, I will also make it a possession for the bitter and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, says Yahweh hosts. And it's going to happen. And the thing about that is, hey, it's going to be the Russians that's going to launch nukes. But who's provoking the Russians to launch the nukes? Because you devils, you so-called, you elite devils, y'all want to so-called Illuminati. You so-called Illuminati devils, you elite devils, y'all want to get rid of Jacob. That's why. And most of us live in Babylon. And the ones that's not, y'all put them in situations to where they feel like they gotta come here. You're basically hurting, hurting all these jakes into Babylon. Pushing them to come over here in caravans. Using social engineering to to herd Jake into Babylon. But you're not going to get the elect. The elect is going to get beamed out of here. You don't get the 2/3. We're going to come back to our like the elect. The elect men is going to come back through the loins of the elect men. And how about the Zod be of that number? Y'all getting the Russians, which are Gog and Magog, to nuke your own empire, to nuke the seat of your own empire. You know where your blessing is at is prophecy. We get it. Revelation chapter 20. Revelation 20, verse 7. And when 1,000 years are expired, which was the Middle Ages, the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, when the so-called black nobility ruled, the black Moors was ruling, Jacob, right? When 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Verse 8, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Yeah, so you saw you doing all this orchestrating Economic collapse. Economic collapse, and in order to cause chaos, and then instituting, and then causing a war, three world wars, all and prophesied about the first war, the second war, the third war. To bring about the new world order. It was prophesied about in Revelation, among other places. Verse 9, and they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about in the beloved city. And fire came down from power Yahweh out of heaven and devoured them. And what is five that they do? The tribes in America, a lot of them. If they're not, they're being herded over here. Herded into caravans and herded over here. So they're gonna be here soon. The fire is of course the nukes. Verse 10, and the devil that deceived them, that's of course also from the chariots as well. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are. Yeah, America. There shall be tormented day and night, forever and ever. And then the word there, is aeons, right? Aeons and aeons. Revelation 20. I'm gonna get a lexicon. Revelation 20. And KJV lexicon probably does say aeon. Just gotta verify. Milli aeonas, aeonas, aeonum is the space of time and age. Aeon, continued duration, space of time and age. Aeona, the space of time and age. All right. Yeah, that was prophesied about. So even you trying to you demolishing your you pulling the 9/11 on your king and queen just to try to rebuild it back and build back better, meaning you would have way more control. It's not going to be successful, which is not going to be successful, by the way. Even that, even that was prophesied about. And the fact that it's not going to be successful is also prophesied about. When he is about to fill his belly, Job 20, right? In Job chapter 20, when he is about to fill his belly, Right before that. Khan. Oh, Khan. Job 20 verse 4. Knowest this thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth. Verse 5, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Verse 6, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds. Verse 7, yet he shall perish forever, like his own dung. Shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. Verse 11, his bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Verse 12, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue. Verse 13, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth. Verse 14, yet the meat in his bowels is turned, is the gall of asp within him, poison of asp within him. Verse 15, he has swallowed down riches, he shall vomit them up again. How Yahweh shall cast them out of his belly. Verse 16, he shall suck the poison of asp. The viper's tongue shall slay him. Verse 17, he shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. Verse 18, that which he labored for shall he restore, but shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, he shall not rejoice therein. Verse 19, because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away a house which he built. Right. You know, ain't that what they did? They took this land. They stole everything they have. They stole it. Verse 20, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not say of that which he desired. Verse 21, there shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. Verse 22, in the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand, it says wicked there, but the word there is just for laborer, shall come upon him. Verse 23, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Verse 24, you shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. The iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. The bow of steel shall strike him through. Verse 25, it is drawn and cometh out of the body, yeah, the glittering sword cometh out of his jaw, tears a form. The bow of steel, right? Right? The man, the man is steel. I always make this reference to help understand it. The man is steel is called Kal El, Kal El, Kal Olive. That's Kal Olive, Kal El, Kal Olive, all Kal. And they say that, well, they gave him that title, right? And he basically represents Yahweh Shai. He represents him. Also, some of the lower level luminaries, maybe these lower level luminaries are being taught that they're gonna catch him versus these elites. Verse 25, so it has several meanings. Verse 25, though, it is drawn and cometh out of the body, yet the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. Verse 26, all darkness shall be hid in the secret places, a fire not blown shall consume them. You know, nuclear fire and chariot fire. It shall go ill with them that is left in his tabernacle. These elites shall not go into slavery. Verse 27, the heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. Verse 28, the increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. Verse 29, this is a portion of a wicked man from Kali Elwa, and the heritage appointed to him by power Yahweh. And also, hey, ultimately, the devil's plans, ultimately, they're gonna fail. You know, y'all gonna take the L, man. You know, y'all gonna take the biggest L out of in the history of L's being taken. The biggest L because it's not like y'all gonna be giving your land back. You know, Obadiah 1:18, right? Obadiah 1:18 is for y'all. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle on them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau. For Yahweh has spoken. You know, y'all are the only nation that is gonna be annihilated. The only nation is you Edomite. The only nation. All right, so with that, I hope with that, I hope this live is edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone from the of Great Millstone of Louisville. Salutations to the occupant of their spreading truth like wildfire and all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect. Stay strong. We almost out of here. You know, about the ball. That's Babylon. I mean, that's Babylon. About like the volume. I mean, about like the volume. That's the Edomite. About like the volume. That to the heathen. About like Ayab Yam Nawa. You know, that's your 2/3. You know, that's our enemy. And the rest of our enemies would be the 2/3. Shalom, stay strong. You know, Shalom, stay strong. Um, Yashrala forever. Hey, Shalom, stay strong. Above all, Yashrala forever. Shalom.